Hello, welcome to Elevate Your Day on Facebook. It's Brian and Andy, and today we're going to go over the book Why the Nativity by Dr. David Jeremiah. And we went through 9 already. We were discussing why was there no room at the inn, and we came up with some really good reasons. It was a teeny tiny town and a huge event going on.
Yep.
So
Bigger than the block party.
bigger than Minotaire's block party. Way bigger. Okay. So we are live on Facebook on Digging Deeper FM, on Scanner FM. We used to call it Digging Deeper FM. Scanner FM on Facebook. We're there. Okay, so we're back over here on Podbean. And so, guys, if you want to join us on Facebook, you'll actually see your comments, or you want to look at it on your phone. I don't know if you can do both or whatever.
Probably not.
But we are on both platforms, so we're going to go ahead and read. This will be chapter 10 now, or number 10, question number 10. Why the stable in Bethlehem? Why the stable? This is from Why the Nativity by Dr. David Jeremiah. We cannot be certain whether the birthplace of the Christ child was a wooden shed or an ancient cave. The word stable is not found in the Nativity narrative. It's natural to assume such because Luke tells us that the shepherds were to seek the child lying in a manger, which was a feeding trough for animals. That trough is actually mentioned twice, once by Luke and once in the words of the angel who appeared to the shepherds. First century Roman reports mention a cave that was believed to be the birthplace of Jesus, and certainly animals would have often sheltered in caves. Wouldn't it be wonderful to imagine that in this very shelter David had rested with his sheep many years earlier? He might have composed the shepherd's song on the very spot where the good shepherd entered this world. On another occasion, he might have rested here while he received the inspiration to write the 22nd Psalm, which he so vividly describes the pain of crucifixion. All this is simply speculation, of course. What we can be certain of is that Jesus, David's descendant, was born somewhere nearby in an unspecified stable arranged for animals, and that image compels us to worship during the holiday season. It makes a fine picture for our Christmas cards and nativity sets, with the animals and shepherds and the moonlight reflecting softly on the child's face. Many of us haven't visited a barn for a while. The aroma is anything but holy. Hay makes you sneeze, and insects everywhere. Joseph and Mary would have preferred a room at the inn. In a town overstuffed with strangers, a stable offered neither safety nor solitude. The couple needed a restful spot after a weary journey for several days. Joseph worried about his wife, who was obviously due to deliver at any time. He had brought her on such a trip because she was too precious to allow out of his sight. The angel had charged him to care for her, and he was determined to hover over her and fill her every need as the time came for her to deliver.
And so it happened. The Son of God came to this earth in the presence not of world leaders, but of animals. He arrived not in a palace or a shrine, but in a stable. The Roman Emperor Hadrian would later try to send a message of intimidation by covering its holiness with an insulting pagan shrine. But he missed the message that had already been sent. Jesus had forever covered all our anger, all our embattled pride with love and forgiveness. He covered, pardon me, he came for Hadrian as well as for Mary, for Joseph, for the shepherds and the wise men, and those who held the nails that would pierce his hands and feet. The power of his love would melt any paltry insult that tried to cover it. Ironically, the site traditionally believed to be that of the stable in which Christ was born has become a battlefield of sorts. By AD 135, the Romans were at their wits' end with ongoing riots in the Judean provinces. The Emperor Hadrian decided to send a ruthless message by desecrating the local places that Jews and Christians held to be sacred. The emperor's scouts told them about an interesting cave in Bethlehem, of all places. A local legend insisted that here Jesus, the founder of Christian movement, had been born in the company of barnyard animals. To make things stranger, this, quote, king had been executed as a criminal years later. Yet his followers exalted him. Hadrian's men located the cave and erected a temple to Jupiter and Venus over it. That will show them, he thought. Hadrian faded into history, but Christianity proved resilient. Exactly 2 centuries later, in AD 335, the Emperor Constantine visited the site himself. He pulled down the remains of the pagan construction and built a Christian church in its place. Years later, the Persians knocked down Constantine's church, and Christians rebuilt it. Then came the Turks to knock it down again. Then rose the Church of the Nativity, which stands today. Its foundation was laid during the Middle Ages by Crusaders with their bloody legacy. As recently as 2002, armed Palestinian militias. Oh my gosh.
Palestinian militia?
Militants.
Militants.
Yeah, okay, let me do it again. As recently as 2002, armed Palestinian militias broke into...
Militants. Try it again. That's what we love live. We love live, you guys. We love this, okay? Palestinian militants.
As recently as 2002, armed Palestinian...
You're smiling too much when you said they were armed. This is a dangerous set of criminals. Oh, okay, serious.
No, wipe that smile off my face.
Hey, this is a serious podcast here, guys. Don't be laughing. I'm serious.
As recently as 2002, armed Palestinian militants broke into and occupied the church for 39 days. Israeli army snipers killed 7 militants and wounded more than 40 others. And a destructive fire was set at the place where the Holy Child was said to have been born. What may be the site of the Nativity, then, has become a center for blood and strife. Even at peace, the great imposing chapel in Bethlehem is a far cry from the humble stable where the Son of God entered the world. Yeah, they've changed it. Because now it's this pretty little temple. Or, church.
Mm-hmm.
He came in simplicity, not extravagance. He came to bring peace to the world and to reconcile his children in love, not to launch new struggles between us. The very site has become a case in point, demonstrating why we need Jesus in the first place.
So unassuming was that birthplace that we can't be entirely certain of its exact whereabouts. The site of the present church has been pointed out since the 1st century, so there's reason to give it credence. Yet, do we really need to know where he was born? The true cradle is in our hearts. Whatever men could construct on that site, men could also tear down, as could moths and... But what the Lord brought to us there can never be destroyed. So why the stable? Christ chose a stable in order to identify with the least of us, with the poor and the vulnerable. He demanded none of the world's comforts nor protections. Jesus came exposed from the first moment to all the dangers the world could offer, and so he remained until they led him to the cross. You know the generous grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, Paul the Apostle could write. Though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, so that by his poverty he could make you rich. 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. Jesus chose the least so that you might have the most. He entered by the stable that you might dwell forever in a palace.
How nice.
Where were you born?
I was born in Oregon.
In what? A car, a stable, a hospital, home?
It was a hospital.
Hospital. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was born in on the 5th floor. People in Scottsbluff know St. Mary's Hospital across the street from Regional West. They know it as 5th floor, right? Or that's what I think they call it still. Anyway, it's the psychological unit over there. That's where I was born. Seriously, that's where I was born.
Yep.
St. Mary's Hospital in Scottsbluff. So, how many people were born in a car or at home or somewhere else? Anybody on our podcast today? Anybody listening on Facebook today? Are you listening on Facebook?
Braden almost was born in a car.
Yeah. And
50 minutes difference.
Yeah, very close. Very close to being born in a car.
Yep.
Oh, Sydney was born on the 5th floor too. Hey, Sydney, I knew I liked you for some reason. Besides everything else. No, that's all right. So, what are the sights, sounds, and smells of a barn? Anybody been in a barn?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Of course. Animals and all that. But I'm sure the first thing that Joseph had to do was clear a space on the floor from no nastiness.
Yeah. You definitely had the bedding, the hay laying around, hopefully. Hopefully they at least had some hay to lay on. Oh, Jen said her your son's last baby, so not your baby, but so your grandson or granddaughter was born in a car.
Huh. Interesting. Grandson. Her grandson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you imagine giving birth in those conditions? In a car or in a stable? Without a doctor or anything? Can you imagine it?
I can imagine it. I mean, we've seen it portrayed on TV several times.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's how you can imagine it. But can you imagine being the one giving birth in a place like that? With no security or idea of cleanliness or sterility or, anything.
Yeah. Well, he must have had linen with him in preparation. She must have brought linen with him to wrap the baby
they did pack,
in swaddling clothes, right?
Right. Yeah, so, hey, they were somewhat prepared. So for further study, we recommend, and Dr. David Jeremiah recommends, that you read Luke 2, 22 through 24. Luke 2, 22 through 24. Or Leviticus 12, 2 through 8. Are you in the thread or on the Facebook feed?
Yeah, I'm just posting something in the thread real fast.
Can you be in the Facebook feed?
Yeah. I'll get back to the Facebook.
See if there's any comments on the Scanner FM Facebook. See if anybody's in there.
No.
Okay, so if everybody wanted to just do comments, you could be on the Facebook feed and you could hear us and see us in there.
Yeah.
And so that was it for the last discussion question on chapter 10.
Yeah. So location mattered, but it was definitely not a chosen location, right?
I still think it was really fortunate that they could be away from the hustle and bustle of everyone else for that special, somewhat quiet moment, outside, possibly more outside than everyone else, or maybe not, and just no luxuries. I think toughing it is almost camping, it seems fitting now that we've read about it.
Yeah. Well, I think about how, people say, oh, I gave birth in a car and it just wasn't the same. Well, no, it's not. But one thing you think about is, generations before did this, right? So she might have been thinking, well, just because I'm not at home in my bed doesn't mean I can't do this, because generations before had to do this in a tent or whatever, right?
Do we know? Do we know that there might have been other stories untold of births at home where they just went out to the barn into a nice?
Well, I'm not.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm asking a simple question, Andi.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know of any.
Do we know of any events? I mean, your point was well taken. You were saying that it wasn't that unusual to have a birth not in a hospital.
Right,
Because
right,
there were no hospitals back then.
right.
So if there were no hospitals and no real super high sterile places, then you had your baby wherever you had your baby.
Well, I think the only fear she would have maybe had is that she didn't have an a matron with her, somebody who'd already gone through childbirth, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
That might have been scary for her.
Yeah, because they're
But
out in the barn. They didn't really.
but she was a woman of faith too.
Oh yeah, very strong.
So it's just, childbirth is not necessarily an easy thing. But
Not necessarily. It's not at all. Yeah, it killed me when you're leaning on my back. Oh, geez. Oh, man. We tried the standing up position for a few hours. I needed a few hours. And
it wasn't really a few hours. It didn't seem like it to me.
yeah, well, you're already in pain and wonder and all that good stuff. So. Pain and wonder. I was wondering. It says, when is this girl coming? This little girl, Ariana, took her time.
Yeah, Braden was easy peasy.
Yeah, he jumped out. He jumped out. Said, I'm here. It was incredible. So we are on Facebook with our comments, and you can join us there as a trial to see how that works, how that sounds. The comments that you see on your screen right here on Podbean are actually on Facebook too.
Yeah. Now there is a delay, so being on both is hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which is delayed there. I thought
the Facebook is a little bit of a delay.
So Facebook is 30 seconds and Podbean is quicker?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's almost immediate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine as a young, and maybe that's one of the reasons she went to visit Elizabeth, was just to kind of know what was to come, But
oh, absolutely.
I'm sure she also grilled her mother, and
that would have been the first thing that she would have done. I think we read that yesterday, didn't we? That the first person she thought of was her cousin, Elizabeth, and she walked 5 days to go see her.
Right. So the walk to Bethlehem wasn't a big deal because she walked 5 days to go see Elizabeth.
Yeah. Thanks for putting up with the old internet glitches. Later. These 2 episodes will be up by tomorrow morning, if not earlier.